Welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady, where I help home business owners win the tax game. Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish. And when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. Okay. So one of my big goals for 2019 was to help at least 1,000 business owners become profitable in their businesses. Okay. And so I plan to do that through education, like the videos like these, helping business owners find different profit centers, and of course, tax savings. Those are the three main ways that I plan to do this. So today is when I'm really going to be focused on a little bit of business training. And it's crazy how, sometimes I get to these subjects, because quite honestly, I plan on talking about something completely different today. But this kind of came to me like, wow, you know what? I think I need to have this conversation. And we're going to be talking about diligence, patience, and time. So how did I get here? So I was actually reading the Bible this morning, and I came upon Proverbs 21:5 when it says, the plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. Okay, that was the scripture for this morning. Then I was chilling out a little bit. My kids are out of school, and I was watching The Count of Monte Cristo. And one of my favorite part in The Count of Monte Cristo is when Edmond Dantes meets the priest. He's imprisoned, and he meets the priest. The priest had been trying to tunnel out and escape from the prison, and basically he wound up going the wrong way and running into Edmond Dantes. And the priest asked Edmond to help him escape. He was like, hey, if you and I do this together, we can be done in 8 years. And then the way that Edmond Dantes looks at the priest, like 8 years, and the priest says, do you have some other pressing appointment? Like, what else you gonna do? And that really made me think, wow, I really need to have this conversation, because where we are now in our microwave society, we're not really down with these three concepts of time, diligence, and patience. So that's how I got here. But let's talk about it. Like I said, a lot of times we are in this microwave mentality. If we don't make $90,000 in 90 days, then suddenly we're a failure. If we're not making 6 figures in 6 minutes, suddenly we're a failure. And really, that is just not how it works, right? People look, so-and-so is an overnight success. Well, that's that overnight success you saw. You didn't see the work before that, right? So what I did is I decided to look up the definitions of these words. And here's what I found I thought was really interesting. First, let's talk about time. Time is measured or indefinite, a measured or indefinite period which an action, process, or condition exists. So it can be measured. Time can be immeasurable. Okay? Then diligence is careful, persistent work or effort. And then the definition for patience is the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. So when we're talking about becoming successful, whether we're talking about successful in business, successful in life, relationships, successful in finances, whether it's taxes or saving or gaining wealth, we're talking about careful, persistent worker effort with the capacity to accept or tolerate delay or obstacles for an indefinite or measured period of time that you got to take action. Let that sink in. So, one of my milestones this past week, I hit 2,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. Thank you for all of my YouTube subscribers. I totally love each and every one of you, and I thank you for watching. Even when you disagree with me, I still thank you for watching. But anywho, 2,000 subscribers. I don't run YouTube ads because I don't know how to do that yet. So all of that happened organically, and everybody's like, woohoo, yeah. And I think it's absolutely awesome. I'm excited that I have hit 2,000 subscribers, and but all of that has happened over 2 years. Now, the thing about it is, though, that first, 6 months, that first 100 subscribers, that was the hardest 100 subscribers I had ever had to deal with, okay? So that first 100 took what seemed like forever forever to get to. And then for you to become a YouTube premium, whatever you call that, anywho, you have to have 4,000 watch hours. That's 240,000 minutes. That's a lot of minutes, right? But you know what? But the thing about it is I stayed consistent, right? I still show up Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish, right? I still show up and I still, shoot videos every single day, Monday through Friday, whether I like it or not. Most of them make it to YouTube. Some of them don't. But the fact is that I do it. And so that's what it is. That was careful, diligent, persistent work that I put in. Now I have between 3 and 5 subscribers every day. That first 100 took forever. Now I consistently have 3 to 5 new subscribers every day. So when it comes down to success in business, it's putting in the work, it's putting in the time and not expecting something to just blow up tomorrow. And then if it doesn't, then you quit. Because if you continually start over, you're never going to get anywhere. What we have the tendency to do is we look at this big old thing, this big old goal, and think, we got to get there tomorrow, when the truth is you don't have to get there tomorrow. Are there different vehicles that's going to help you do things better and faster? Are there tools to help you do those things? Absolutely. But the problem that we have is that we want shortcuts to everything. And sometimes there are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts to uploading videos every day. There are no shortcuts to showing up live every day. There are no shortcuts to these things. Can you use tools? Absolutely. But there are no shortcuts. Because to go across the country is 3,000 miles plus, right? It doesn't matter how you get there. You can take a car, you can take a train, you can take a plane, but it's still 3,000 miles. Now, might you get there faster one way than the other? Absolutely. But it's still time. Time is still going to pass. And I was, perusing the news. I perused the news and I came across this article, I think was in the Washington Post, I think. And it talked about how in Ohio, there was, one of the plants laid their workers off. And it talked about this gentleman who went from making $22 an hour to $11 an hour. He was working at the plant. He got laid off and then he wound up working a pizza parlor for $11 an hour. And, he was in his 40s. And so they were talking to this man and interviewing this man. And he's saying, you know what? I'm too old to start over. I'm too old to go back to school. And I thought to myself, the time is going to pass anyway. What other pressing appointment do you have? Or is it better to resign yourself to this $11 an hour that you can't survive on, right? And so we get so caught up in this concept of how long it's going to take instead of really understanding that the time is going to pass anyway. It's what you do in that time that makes the difference. So for this man to sit here and say, okay, well, for him, the only answer was to bring the jobs back instead of putting in the time to go to school to learn a new skill. Nobody wants to start over. Starting over stinks. I can be the first one to tell you that starting over absolutely stinks. But the point is that the time is going to pass anyway. So if you're going to make the most of the time, you have to use the time that you have now, because see, when the time passes, you can't get it back. You can't, you can sit there and look back and think, wow, if I had started this 3 years ago, I could have been here. This is how, the same concept with money. If you had saved money, 5 years ago, maybe I could have a bundle of money now. Because see, what we do is we think we got to have it now. We can't take pride in saving up $100 because it's just $100. Instead of saying, okay, but if I put this $100 into some sort of investment, even into a savings account pays you nothing, but it pays, well, I won't say it pays you nothing, but it pays you very little. It pays you more than nothing, right? So if you put $100 in a savings account, after a while, it's going to gain a little bit of interest. If you invest that $100, after a while, it's going to gain some interest, right? So the time is going to pass on that $100 anyway. Why not put that $100 to work for you so it can become something more? And it doesn't have to stay $100. It's $100 today. You might put in $5 next week. You might put in $20 the week after that. It doesn't matter. It's the careful, persistent work. It is careful, persistent work with the capacity to not get upset when you have to tolerate delay, which means you can't have it right now, an obstacle, you experience some failure, and then you can't get upset about it and say, oh, it doesn't work. That's not how this works. We have to start exercising some patience because the microwave thing does not work for everything. Have you ever tried a microwave cake? I have. It was not cute. Okay. A microwave cake is nasty. All right. But when you take the time to bake the cake the way it's supposed to be done, it tastes delicious. But it takes a little longer. And so when you are trying to grow your business, every little step forward is progress. Celebrate the small wins. You're not going to necessarily start your business today and be a millionaire tomorrow. But if you don't start your business today, you won't be a millionaire in 5 years. If you don't experience some setback, if you don't endure the training, if you don't endure, it's not going to happen 10 years down the road. Just like Edmond and, in the Count of Monte Cristo. If he didn't start digging today, 8 years will pass and he'd still be in the same place where he was resigned to be for the rest of his life. See, people think, oh, that's going to take forever. For me, I say, gosh, that's going to take forever. I better get started today. Because you're never going to get to the end. You're never going to reach your next goal if you don't get started. If you're so focused on, how long it's going to take, instead of focusing on how long it's going to take, focus on today. Just what can you do today? And then plant that seed. I think this lady is in Holland, but anyway, she planted a field of tulips. Okay. And that field, and when I say a field of tulips, I mean, we talking miles and miles of tulips. And she has a sign that says, yes, I did it every day. Something like that. Don't quote me on that. But she planted all of those flowers and it was a little bit every day. So don't get caught up in all of the woo-woo, so-and-so made, $90,000 in 5 minutes. Okay, but what happened before that? What kind of work had to be put in to get to that $90,000 in 5 minutes? And then don't try to compare yourself to someone else's accomplishments. See, when we talk about comparison is the thief of joy. The reason that comparison is the thief of joy is that you always compare what someone else has to what you don't have. So you always lose. That's why you don't compare yourself. That person made $90,000 in 90 days and I didn't. So then you feel like a loser. No. Do not compare that. That's not how this is supposed to work. You got to run your own race. And if you never get started on your own race, you're never going to get to your desired point. So I know this wasn't about taxes, but this was something that was really on my heart. And I really hope that you take this to heart and apply it to whatever it is that you're trying to do. Just know that it might not happen today. It might not happen tomorrow, but if you give up, it's never going to happen for real. Okay, so thank you guys so much for tuning in to Home Biz Tax Talk. Again, we air Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock ish, and you can come in here to get your questions answered about your home business taxes. All right, have a great day, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.